You know that little plastic card you use to get into the office every day? You probably don't even think about it, but it has a fascinating and honestly a kind of alarming secret. So let's get into it. Okay, so let me hit you with a question right off the bat. Imagine you're in an elevator, just riding up to your floor. Could a total stranger standing right next to you clone your office key card before those doors even ding open?
The answer is, yep, absolutely, and it can take as little as 1 second. I know, that's pretty scary, right? But in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how that's possible and, more importantly, what the security world is doing to fight back.
So to really get how this is even possible, we've got to rewind the clock a bit. The very first generation of these access cards had a huge fundamental flaw, and this is really where the whole security arms race began.
These early cards are called Prox cards, and the absolute best way to think about them is like a car's license plate. They are just constantly, and I mean constantly, broadcasting their unique ID number to any reader that's listening. And here's the kicker. There is zero encryption. None whatsoever.
So, that 1 second attack, how does it actually go down? Well, it is shockingly simple. An attacker can buy a cloner online for like 20 bucks. They just need to get close enough to you to bump your backpack or your purse, and poof, that device instantly grabs the number your card is shouting out. And just like that, they've got a copy of your key.
Yeah, this vulnerability is so well known in the security world that installers have a golden rule. You never, ever install a brand new system using this old tech. It's only for maintaining systems that are already out there. The big takeaway here is that all that early convenience came at a huge cost to, actual security.
Okay, so obviously the industry couldn't just let that slide. The answer to this license plate problem was a much, much smarter kind of technology, one that turned that public broadcast into a very private conversation.
So meet the next generation, the high-frequency smart card. Now, instead of a license plate, this card acts way more like a secure USB drive. It doesn't just shout its number into the void. Nope. When it gets near a reader, it engages in what's basically a secret handshake, using really complex math and encryption keys to make sure the reader is legit before any ID is ever shared.
So when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. You're going from a public license plate with absolutely no security to a secure USB drive that has a private encrypted conversation. It's a massive, massive upgrade.
But of course, the story doesn't end there. This is a security arms race, after all. Hackers eventually figured out how to break the encryption on some of those early smart cards. That's why, for the really secure places, the pros now use the very latest standards like DS-Fire EV1, EV2, and EV3. Just think of them as tougher and tougher levels of encryption, each one harder to crack. It just goes to show you, security is never a one-and-done thing, it's always evolving.
All right, so the card got way smarter. What's the next logical step? Well, how about getting rid of the card completely? The future of getting through doors is moving that key to something you're already carrying, or, well, something you are.
And the first place everyone looks, of course, is the phone that's already in your pocket. You've got two main flavors here. There's NFC, that's the same tech as your Apple Pay. It's a super fast tap, but you have to be right on top of the reader. Then there's Bluetooth. It has a much longer range, so you can just leave your phone in your pocket and the door unlocks as you walk up. It's really a classic trade-off, speed versus convenience.
And then, for the absolute top tier of security, you get into biometrics. This is where you become the key. Fingerprints are super common, but, they can have hygiene concerns. Facial recognition is quick and totally touchless, but it brings up some privacy questions. And then you have the iris scan. Literally the most accurate biometric we have, since even identical twins have different irises. But it's really expensive. The point is, we're swapping a physical object for our own biology, and each one of those comes with its own set of rules.
Okay, so let's pause. You've got an encrypted smart card, or you're using your phone. Heck, maybe you're even using an iris scan. You are totally locked down, right? Well, not so fast. There is one final, hidden weak spot in this whole chain that most of us never ever think about. Think about it. The card and the reader, they have their private encrypted chat, but what happens after that? How does that reader on the wall talk to the main security panel, the brain that actually clicks the lock open? That connection, that's the final frontier. For decades, these systems used an ancient protocol called Wiegand. And its fatal flaw? The signal sent over the wires from the reader to the controller was totally unencrypted. I mean, an attacker could literally rip the reader off the wall, tap into those wires, and just watch all the card numbers go by. The modern fix is a protocol called OSDP, which encrypts that entire conversation. It is the difference between shouting a secret across a crowded room and passing someone a locked note. And just like we saw with those old Prox cards, This massive vulnerability has led to a new ironclad mandate for security pros. All new installations must use the secure, encrypted OSDP protocol. And this really drives home the final, most important takeaway. Real security isn't just about the key in your hand. It's about securing every single link in the chain, right down to the wires hidden inside the wall.
So the next time you tap your card or your phone to get into your office, just stop for a second and wonder, is that system built on a 40-year-old flaw just listening with old wires? Or is it speaking a new, secure language? It really makes you think about all the invisible technology that's supposed to be keeping our world safe.